What's up? I'm Mike McHugh, and today we're going to go over the overhead squat test and how to assess it. So the test is you hold a pump or a bar over your head and you squat down as low as you can. And you don't want to coach the exercise too much, that way people just squat naturally and you can see their deficiencies relatively easy. So just want to squat down, low as you can, go back up, it's controlled. Want them to do this a couple times. Really instruct them to go as deep as they can, but don't coach them through it too much. Just give them a few pointers to not lean on their toes and to try to keep their heels on the ground as much as possible. Something you could look for during the squat technique is if their knees go in, which is called valgus. That's usually due to weak quad muscles. So one way to do it is just strengthen your quads, or it could be due to tightness. One thing you do, foam roll your quads, your hamstrings, especially your IT bands, especially if those are real tight, and your hip flexors. Another thing you do is lacrosse ball, or use a tennis ball or a baseball, and really get to where the most tightness is. So start on your hips, really roll those out until you're nice and loose, and then work your way down. So you can do your hamstring, especially by your knee, right above your knee, and then your IT bands. If you foam roll right here and your IT band, it should really loosen you up and you should be able to squat down normally again. Another thing I was mentioning, when you squat, you want to keep your heels on the ground, like you lift your toes, but you don't want your knees to pass your toes. Just keep it parallel as much as possible, but squat as low as you can. Another problem when you squat down, I don't know if I could even do it, your knees go out too far. It's called valgus. It's usually due to tightness as well, but there are more corrective exercises for it than just strengthening your quads. You can do a lunge where you have a band and it pulls your knee in, and you just work on keeping your knee in. Another thing you can do, called clam openers. You get a band, put them around your leg, and just work on going like this with a band around 15 to 30 on each leg, or this. Same thing with the band, keep your legs out, but the band will pull them in, strengthening them. And keep your hands on the ground. And do this 15 to 30 times. And this should really help you straighten out your form. Another problem is imbalance with your hips. But the imbalance with your hips usually doesn't start with your hips, but you could fix it by rolling out your hips, strengthening your hips, and other corrective exercises. Another problem most people have is their foot, or their feet and their ankles. Their feet are either duck foot or they're pronated. Another problem with that is just tightness. Exercises you could do to correct that are you shorten your feet so you get your arch up as high as possible, bend your toes in, hold it, put it out. Or if you're against the wall, put your foot down and try to touch the wall as much as possible. And if you can touch the wall with your foot being like this close to the wall within an inch, move it back and keep doing that. And you could obviously foam roll. So you could foam roll your calves, your gastrocsoleus muscle, your inferior longus, and the bottom of your foot. Just really loosen everything up. That way when you squat, that your feet or your ankles won't be hurting your technique. So everything is just loose from here. A lot of problem is you're just tight throughout, so you can't squat as normally as you should be able to.
I'll be demonstrating a few foam rolling techniques, and I'm going to start off with the calf muscle. So, what I'm going to do, you can start with just one leg, and you're kind of just not really lifting yourself off the ground, but you're kind of just sitting on the ground and you're rolling. Here, inch up. Make sure you have plenty of space. And I'm I'm gonna move back and forth on the lateral and medial surfaces of my calf. Back, forward. Just keep rolling it. And if you want to put some extra weight on it, put one leg over the other to give it extra pressure, and continue the rolling back and forth, both lateral and medial surfaces. Do it about 15 to 30 seconds. Then you can switch legs. Over the other. It's really just gonna help loosen up the muscle.